I'm going to share my screen. With you. I received this today. "54.7% of the households in Long Beach have taken the census." That's not a lot. We need, as a city, to really bring these numbers up. So I've asked all of the leaderships of our local civics to join in a Zoom conference tonight to discuss the importance of the census for the city of Long Beach. And with us, we have Barbara Bernardino from Beach to Bay. We have Jim Kirkland from East Home. And please correct me if I don't remember all of the long and lengthy titles. We have Mrs. Odom from Concerned Citizens of North Park, Eileen Hessian from the West Home and Walk Civics Association, Gemma and Bill Tanzi from the West End Neighbors Association, and Kevin Riley from the
Northeast Bay and Canal Civic Association.
Thank you, Kevin. And we have Monique Powell from the United States Census Bureau and her associate, Ms. Fernandez, to discuss the importance of the 2020 census. So with that, I give the virtual floor to Monique to discuss the importance of the 2020 census. Monique, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you. I am going to share my screen for the presentation, and I will do that right now. Okay, there we go. All right, so just making sure technology is the best for me. There we go. All right, so this is a short slide. Let me get rid of the background noise. My other coworker is my son, and I'm trying to move out the background noise. Okay, so just to talk about briefly about the census, the main focus of the census is to communicate how it would shape your future, specifically Long Beach. We all know that I've been in Long Beach, so I am passionate about shaping the numbers in addition to my role as a partnership specialist. And my role and Jessica's role is unique because we work with local civics, nonprofit, community organizations, faith-based organizations to create the partnerships to express how important this is. And we look for you guys to be our trusted voices to get this done. So I will continue. So the U.S. Census Bureau is the largest statistical agency in the United States, the leading source of quality data about the nation's people, places, and economy, conducting more than 130 Census Bureau surveys. So right now we are in what we call the 2020 census. Prior to that, we do the small programs about demographics, unemployment, but right now we're at the decennial census every 10 years. And that's why it's important, because this information is only conducted every 10 years. So if you are in between, and particularly in Long Beach and Lido Beach, there were some surveys in between the 2020 census. And here's a link here. If any resident is ever confused of why is somebody knocking on my door, why am I getting 12 pages of a survey, we have a number here where you can call in if you suspect any type of fraud, or if you want to know if your area is in a census survey timeline. And these are ways you can verify the mailing, verify the representative that is at your door, or verify a phone call. So the 2020 census main goal is to count everyone once and only once in the right place. We do not care about anything else. We just want to count everyone once and only once and in the right place with minimum error. So the census is mandated. It talks about the ever-growing population, that we need to get the numbers. It is conducted every 10 years. And most importantly, it identifies the representation and the funding for areas. Most importantly, my message is that the census is safe, easy, and important. So it is important because it determines the number of seats each state has in the United States House of Representatives. New York is in jeopardy of losing representation, if you did not know, based on the population. It defines the congressional and state, here go my coworkers, sorry. It defines the congressional and state legislative districts and the school districts and the voting precincts based on the numbers and the population count that we get. What has been the number one topic is that it determines the annual allocation of $675 billion in federal funding. The George Washington University did a report. I will email you guys that report. It talks about specifically the funding. And some of those areas, hold on, sorry. Brooke, sorry. So some of the funding is determined by the census is Medicaid, SNAP, highway planning, Section 8 housing, special education grants, Title I grants, the school lunch program, WIC, and Head Start. And I can give you an example. One of the questions on the census talks about families and expecting children from 0 to 5 years old. And for some reason, that is one of our hard to count areas of expecting families and children from 0 to 5 years old. If we get the right count, that number will determine how many Head Start seats that areas receive, funding for women, infant, and children. And remember, that data lasts for 10 years. So if we don't get that right count of a child between 0 and 5, then we don't get the resources that's allocated for that child all the way up from birth to 10 years old, because the census is only 10 years. It provides insights to government, business, and community planning. I'll show you the data from the census and how businesses use it. So it provides a population benchmark for nearly every other United States, and that is important. It is safe, so the private information is never published. You've never heard of a data breach of the census data. Social security numbers, telephone numbers, none of that is given. The information is to only produce statistics and numbers to make decisions. I am sworn, as well as Jessica, my colleague, for confidentiality. We both do not want to wear orange, and we do not want to pay $250,000, because I'm one of those people who have student loans. That is about double that, I would say. So even when you see me outside of my census role, I will never disclose any conversations that we had that are private. Also being safe is that it's hard for us to even go into our devices. And we had such a scrutiny over Zoom, and that is how encrypted the information is and how safe it is. How to respond to the census. So this is number one. There are 4 ways this year that you can respond. Online, which is yay, because COVID has really affected how we respond. Phone, I'll show you the numbers. Paper from the mail-in. And then what I always say, if you don't do it, they will come. So if you do not do the 3 above, then you will have our enumerators, AKA our census employees, census takers, knocking on your door to retrieve this data. If you look to the right, this is an example of what the mail-in looks like. So if you can see, we ask for name, age, date of birth, race and origin, Hispanic origin, relationship, gender, tenure, and these operational questions as far as how many people are in the house, what are their names to check the validity, are there an overcount of your house, is there any relatives living with you, or undercount for what we already have. We will never ask your social security number, we never ask for money or donations, we never ask for anything on behalf of a political party, and we never ask for any bank or credit card numbers, because we're just asking for the population count in that house. So here is a link that I could share. It's an example of an actual survey, a questionnaire that comes to the house. So this is the paper questionnaire. It looks overwhelming, and that's why I like to direct everyone to do the online. But for those who like paper, you can fill this out. This is for informational use only. Every household, majority of the households who do not complete the online will receive the paper invitation and then the actual paper questionnaire. It's about 12 pages. Okay. I have a teacher fast voice, so I'll try to slow down, sorry. All right, so this year we have a lot of language supports. And this all came from previous census data to know that the 12 additional language that is needed. So these are the 12 languages. These are the supports to help to fill it out. And I'm happy to have Jessica here if she has to provide any translations. We have partnership specialists that helps with all different type of languages for translation. So we're always available and we match the population. So now with completing the census, beginning March 1st, the English and Spanish language lines will be available where you can actually call in to the numbers here to receive assistance with filling out. Also, to provide any customer service, if there's any questions, you can also call in these numbers as well. And that's already starting. There's other non-language supports that is available, that is online, and provide these language guides on how to complete the census. So here is the update based on COVID. Prior to this, the deadlines was a little bit different. As you see here, it has now been a proposed new schedule for self-response. So we now extended it from March 12th all the way to October. Given time, we know there's other important issues, but giving families time amidst the COVID of when to fill it out. At the bottom where it says non-response follow-up is when we begin our timeline of the enumerators knocking on doors and following up with those who did not respond. So we're trying to urge people out and using our trusted voices to urge people to fill it out before October. We're grateful that it's extended. And if you fill it out, you won't have anybody knocking on your door, but we will start to knock on doors in August. Now let's get to some specific Long Beach information. So I pulled up 2 tracks from Long Beach, and you can see some of the census information that comes up with Long Beach. You might say this is a great representation, you may say it's not. And this is the data that we receive from the census questionnaire. So if you could see it, it says that we have a low response score, about 24%. So that means around 24% of residents in this area do not respond to the census. And those are, low numbers. I have high areas of Hempstead, Freeport, Roosevelt that have about 34 and up. But if you go further down, it says about 40% is expected to respond. The total population count is there. The median household income is there as well. And you could look at both tracks. So this is what the information is about. It says children under the age of 18 living in poverty is only 15%. So if you take that, if they look at that number and you look at school enrolled children, that determines our Head Start. Typically Head Starts have about 25 seats. So you can look at that, the graduation rate, and I'll be silent just to give you some time just to look at it. So this information is public information. It is on Roam. You can Google Roam up top, ROAM, and you can get any census tract information all over the world from Roam. So you can see the information. And this was taken in 2013, 2017. This information is based on a survey that we sent out, our American Community Survey. Now, for some of our civics and myself being in the nonprofit, if you're writing a grant, if you're seeking funding, you use this information. This is the demographics that you use, as well as businesses. So businesses look at this as far as the average income, if they can afford their product, the pricing of their product, if they should invest in the area. They look at the workforce to make decisions, as well as when we're writing grants. This is the demographics and the statement of need. This is where we get the information from. I can always help later on to provide this information, as well as our data team for those who are writing grants, seeking foundations, or looking for some type of funding, because these are the numbers and this is the source of data where you get it from. Okay, so here is Long Beach self-response map. So Elizabeth, you was absolutely right where you got your information from. New York itself is at a 55.1%. And Long Beach is trailing a little bit underneath that at 54.8. Now, Nassau County as a whole is at 66%. So we're trailing below the Nassau County's average. But this is called our self-response map. It is live, it is public information. It is updated as far as the day before. It reflects the numbers. And you can see the blue means that we are in the 51 to 56 range as far as Long Beach self-response. So boosting this number up will make the numbers resemble Long Beach really, because Long Beach counts, especially at this time. So this is the self-response rate.
Monique, this is Liz. In comparison to other communities say something on the North Shore, who is responding the most? Is that something you would know?
Yes.
Because Long Beach we're very competitive.
Oh, so I should give you a.
So we want to know who to beat.
Let me give you those numbers. Give me an area that you would like to know so I could.
I don't know.
Great Neck.
Great Neck? We said Great Neck?
Yeah.
I will give you that. Now, while I do this, I'm also the congressional partnership specialist. So I give out a report to the congressional team. And Long Beach, I believe, is in 4.
That's correct.
Aha! That means I'm doing my job. Oof. Jessica, make sure you tell our boss that I did for real. But I will show you. I will show you. We said Great Neck first.
I'm looking for Great Neck too.
Okay, thank you. I'll show you even Congressional District 4 and do the census tract, and you can get a really overview of. So Congressional District 4 is at a 64%, and this is your district here. Long Beach is 40. So if you see the colors, the where we want to be is the dark blue, or more of the indigo blue, which is the 75 to 85.
Yes.
So Long Beach is, I'm not good on the map. I hope I'm getting to the area where Long Beach is. Right here, nope. 4169, nope, 4065. Anybody on the map wise can direct me to where I should be pointing it? I think it's down near the water.
Interesting to see the map with the darker colors to
Yeah.
see where, but we don't see that.
So Great Neck right now is in 59 with 7%, 59%, almost 60.
Oh, see,
Yeah,
that's a goal.
almost 60.
Wow. So if you see this as a whole, you can see in your district where we're at. Yep. Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
And I can always send you guys, Jessica and myself can send you guys these numbers. I can also send you the district numbers if you need that, since you're so competitive. I've been talking to Lido Beach as well about their numbers. And that's it. So I will finish this and we can go over any other specific questions. Only a couple of slides. We are hiring. We are at $23.50 per hour with our census takers. So we are definitely looking for employees. We're still actively hiring. If anybody is looking for a position, you can go to 2020census.gov. You do not need a resume. You just need access to the link there and access to your email. We've had a couple of job fairs prior to COVID. We had it at the MLK Center. We had it with Helen at the Latino Civic Association. I've met some of you guys in other meetings. I think I was at the stand-up meeting. I see some familiar faces. We can continue this once COVID is over. Well, when the freeze is over, we're at an operational standstill as census employees, but we will be picking it up soon. If you would like a job, or you know someone that's interested in a job that Jessica and I have, although it's seasonal and almost over, our jobs was posted on usajobs.gov. All right, if you ever need data, please let us know. We can provide you with all type of data, especially as civic associations, so you can get a little bit more specific demographics of the area that you serve. If you have a grant writer, I'm a grant writer myself, so this information is very important. And that's it. You should see some of our advertisement. I've worked with the City of Long Beach. They have included some of the advertisements on the city's page. I could send you each a toolkit of information of how you can spread the word and what you can say, simply just putting up signs of the census, encouraging our community people to apply. for jobs and even self-respond.